Why is that so
Recording
funny?
in
I don't know.
progress.
And I'm not high. You are.
Yeah, I know. I just smoked that bowl too. Like literally just finished it.
Oh my
I'm running
Lord.
behind this morning.
All right. Well, it sounds like we're all ready for a show today. So I won't ask the obligatory already. I will just say, let's hit it. Hello, and welcome to our humble little podcast. This is Atlantis After Dark, the greatest place in all of cyberspace. I was today years old when I found out what BBC means. Yeah, it was a lot to take in. I'll tell you what, I'm ready to go already. You are too, so let's not waste any additional time. Let's get right into it and meet today's All-Stars. Warming up in the bullpen. The other day I asked him, if you could sleep with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be? He said, definitely someone alive. It's Biffed by Adam West. What's the word, dude?
What's going on, man? My wife always texts me like, what does this mean? What does this mean? Because she's on TikTok or the interweb or whatever, and one time she texted me, she says, what does BBC stand for?
Oh.
And I was like, you don't want to know.
Allow me to show you.
Oh, well, welcome
By
aboard.
the way, the answer to your question is Selma Hayek.
Selma Hayek. Okay.
I like Selma Hayek.
Dead or alive?
Well, she'd probably have to be dead to do it.
Oh my God. Oh, well, I can't transition from that, so I'll just say welcome to the show, pal. Necrophilia notwithstanding. All right. Thanks for being today. All right. Next up, he's the Sorcerer Supreme of cyberspace. Last week, he went to the liquor store on his bike, and he bought a bottle of scotch. He figured he'd take it all the way home, but he figured if I fall on my way home, I'll break the bottle. So he drank it all right there, and it's a good thing he did because he fell over 7 times on the way back home. It's Retpmus. What's happening, Big Kahuna?
Oh, same old, same old. Glad to be here. Wonderful day today. Very, very hot outside.
Yeah, it's going to be toasty.
I don't know what the weather's like for you guys, but it's been kind of scorching the past few days.
Yeah, no, it's been toasty here. We had a little bit of a cooling streak over the last couple of days, but before that, I'm sure you were getting the heat that we got. It's pretty unbearable. It's nasty.
We had a tornado advisory last night.
Oh, really?
And that doesn't happen in Connecticut. It was like a big deal.
Aren't we setting record heat waves already?
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't know they had trailer parks in Connecticut. Oh my God, I'm sorry. Anyways, welcome to the show, Retpmus. We're damn glad to have you. Joining us on the show today. The other night, she walked into a bar and saw a haggard old soldier sitting there. She asked, "Is everything okay?" He said, "I haven't had sex since 2013. She said, "Well, let's change that and go back to my place." They had super hot sex for 2 hours. He said, "Wow, that's the best sex I had all night." She said, "Well, wait a minute. You said you hadn't had sex since 2013. He said, "Yes, and now it's 2139. It's the lovely and talented Miss Junk. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you so much. But no one's ever said I was the best sex of their life ever. So that's the real joke.
Oh, well, there's a first time for everything, right?
That's right.
Oh, I'm teasing. We are damn glad to have you here, Miss Junk. Always a pleasure.
Great to be here.
Very, very cool. Up next, he's the gangster of ganja. He was telling me the other day that his credit card was stolen. I said, "That's terrible." He said, "Yeah, but I don't mind. Whoever stole it is spending less than my wife." It's Sekju. What's happening, sir?
I wish she was the one that had the problem with big purchases. I'm the one who's like, okay, I don't spend anything for a while, and then it's like, oh, look at that $4,000 toy.
Right.
Just like
that 6-to-1 Superman statuine figure you're gonna get.
I'm trying so hard. I keep dropping those hints to my mom. I'm like, I don't need birthday presents for a decade if you get this one thing.
Speaking of toys, I've got to tell you, I saw this little YouTube review of the brand new Grimlock Transformer, it transforms on its own exactly the same way the cartoon does. It's an exact transform. It walks, talks, it does everything. It is freaking amazing. It has like over like 500 little micro servos in it. It's freaking amazing. You guys have to check this out. It's $1,500, but it's like maybe close to a foot and a half tall. I mean, it's really big, but when you see this thing transform, you're like, how did they ever figure out to transform? It's because he stands on two legs as a dinosaur and he stands on two legs as a robot. And I mean, he's completely automatic. He does everything. Every single joint moves in his body, like just like a real person does. I mean, it will blow your mind when you see this toy. And I can understand why it's $1,500, but I want one so bad.
See,
and Optimus Prime is the same way. He transforms the same way. He rolls out. He's remote control. You can drive him around. You can transform him into a robot. He walks as a robot. I mean, it's just these two robots will blow your mind. I'm telling you, you've got to see these things.
Do they play the same sound effect as the cartoon?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Perfect.
That's kind of amazing.
It's I just had to bring it up because I saw that and I was just like, daggone. And you said that about buying expensive toys. And I was like, man, how can I talk my wife into letting me have this?
So I got a question.
My toy we already covered when we talked about BBC.
No, I got a question. Does this thing connect to the internet at all?
You can download an app.
Okay, that's
enough.
Like
thousands and thousands of different things if you want to configure your own stuff for it, or you just talk to it. It's actually voice activated. You can say, hey, Grimlock, transform. He's like, okay, me, Grimlock, transform. And he'll change. And he'll be like, Grimlock, attack. And he'll be like, Grimlock,
oh,
attack.
no. That's not a lesson I want to teach that motherfucker. Listen, that's what I'm trying to tell you. AI is going to kill all of us, and that Grimlock motherfucker is the fucking first step of this shit. That's how the Transformers are going to take over the world, buddy. Do not get that fucking toy.
Yeah, let's build one 4 stories high.
It's too awesome. Oh, speaking of that, have you seen like the live Gundam? Everybody on here know what a Gundam is?
No.
Like the giant robots from Japan? Like the
do.
people sit inside the head of this giant robot and drive it. That's how big these robots are. They built in Japan a life-size full Gundam, and it actually moves everything. It's freaking unreal. I wonder how many.
Going to put it in Pacific Rim 3?
I don't know, but it's not fake. It's a true to scale life-size real Gundam, and it has like all this like, you know, hydraulics to move it and everything. It's I don't know. It's getting crazy.
Well, hey, you laugh at them now, but whenever a fucking kaiju rips a hole in the ocean floor and pops out, we're going to be real happy that they had the foresight to build that son of a bitch.
Yep, there you go.
We got one already. We don't have to play catch up.
My God. Is that the end of Grimlock? I'm sorry. Are we, I'm just curious because I don't want to piss off our new evil overlords by saying too many bad things about them on a show they can obviously listen to. So
it's the end of our Transformer segment.
Yeah. Sorry, it got me excited because I was watching that toy. I was like, damn, I want that thing.
Oh boy.
Well, hell, I'm not that worried about AI at this point. Has anybody been watching C-SPAN? It looks like we can team up with aliens now. So, hooray. We got partners against the robots.
What sense does that make?
Haven't you been watching any of that stuff? There's like all
No.
these like retired army generals and stuff coming forward and being like, yep, there's aliens. We know all about them. We've
Really?
been
No
talking to them
shit.
for years.
Really? No shit, huh?
Yeah, nobody's talking about it. It's crazy. And it's not like, I don't know, it's legitimate news sources that are like showing these videos of these guys' testimony to Congress. And it's like, okay, well, interesting. Apparently we do have aliens and we're friendly with them. So that's cool. Fuck you, robots. We got friends.
Yeah. Yeah. Fucking robots. Can't take us over. Anyways.
Yeah.
All right. Enough with the fucking comedy. Let's get on to some DCL. Let's talk a little bit about raids. Do we even talk about it? I guess, you know what? Let's talk about raids because I want to pick Sekju's brain a little bit. You did not play the first 2 days of this raid. And I mean, not without...
Not my normal level.
Not your normal level. Right.
Yeah.
So, what was your experience like in that? I'm just curious to hear from somebody who hasn't done that first 2 days.
Well, it's just kind of a pain in the ass because, you know, if you don't keep up on certain levels of progress in the first 2 days, then you can't spawn the good bosses whenever you get to day 3. So, I don't even know where the actual cutoff would be at this point, because last raids, this happened to me 2 raids in a row. So the last raids, I barely played at all, and I was somewhere down in like the 3000s, and I expected to have to deal with like level 22 bosses and 39s and all that bullshit before I could get up to the bosses that actually matter. But this time I was actually right around, I think, 600. And even though I was at 600, I still had to deal with a bunch of level 22s and a bunch of level 39s for about an hour and a half on day 3 before I could finally catch up to the regular bosses. And I mean, let me tell you, it completely changes the way that you plan for a raid and play for a raid, especially with Superboy Prime, because those bosses don't go down quickly. So, if you're used to like playing and finishing in that top 50 spot or top 20, it's a lot harder whenever you're not able to be ready to hit those bosses. That first like 90 minutes makes a huge difference on day 3 in terms of progress. So that was my experience this time. I'm still not finished with milestones. I usually finish milestones on day 3. So
I guess maybe the lesson is don't skip the first 2 days.
I don't know. I mean, you can you can definitely do it, but I definitely think that your life's a little bit easier if you start with 51s, 68s, and 90s on day 3 versus having to catch up at all. But obviously, you do what your schedule allows in the game.
Yeah.
What was your total at the end of day 2?
Total at the end of day 2, I think I was around 16 million points or something around there.
That should have been enough. I've found I've landed in the right bucket at 12 million.
Maybe
before,
I just have
so
bad luck.
Maybe it was just something weird this raid, because I tell people between 12 and 17.5 million should be your target to get you in that top tier. So that
I could be wrong too, Biff. Like I honestly don't remember, but I know that I was above 10 million because I made it a point to get past there because of the previous raid when I was so low. It took me like 4 hours to catch up from 3,000. So I didn't even.
I think I was 14.5 and I was fine.
Yeah.
I went straight to it. It took me probably 10 minutes to get a 90, but
can't stand the
but you're
first
starting the
2 days of raid.
51s and 68s.
You're saying DCL junk?
I can't stand the first 2 days of raids, and I work on weekends, so it's every week it's just like me cranking the last 2 days, because the first 2 are worthless. Like you get level 2 XPs, you get I mean you get so little energy. You get the only benefit, like with the Alliance boss, you do get some of that the blue lightning bolt things. I forget what they call it, but I just wish they would make it a little more worthwhile. Like I have no problems cranking the first 2 days, none at all. But it just felt like why am I doing this? I'm getting green S. I was only doing it for the green essence, and I was like, I just wish they had like cut out the first day entirely. Just make it, or like cut those. No more level 1, 2, and 3, unless you're like low tier. Just start off with like the 22, 39 on day 1, and then start.
Well, I think that's where you touched on it, is raids. I think doesn't it allow for anybody with a 50 G9 roster to compete essentially? So you have to have some bosses in there for those people to actually kill. I
think it's level 30.
Yeah,
so it's
level
even
30.
lower.
Yeah.
So I don't even know, because I never even played raids at that level, so I had no idea. But you have to have some bosses for them to be able to kill too. That's why we get like level 13s on day 4 being shared, because these guys can't kill them. So it's a hard rope for them to balance, because you do still have some players that are new. This game is definitely older, but there are new people that come in. We see it in Reddit all the time with people asking like, hey, who should I upgrade, this guy or this person's in the shop, who should I buy? So yeah, there are new people playing too, and they have to cater to them. So I think you're right that you could cut off day 1 altogether and make raids like a 3-day event, so that way it's not taking up a whole extra day, and you could have those bosses spawn, but just eliminate that whole first day and just have a 3-day event.
Yeah, and I have no problem. Like I have no problem with lower bosses for lower level players. I think obviously that they'll need that, but I just feel like that there's an easier way to make it so that there are bosses spawning for level 30 players, and not have some like people who've been there forever wasting their time. I don't know. Maybe I'm just like bitching about some, but it's just like because I work every weekend, it's just like not. I mean, I was up till 3 a.m. Then I set my alarm to come up and play just so I can make sure I'm finished before I have to go out to work again tonight. I'm like this. It's like it's just so annoying.
It becomes a chore and not fun, you know?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Yeah. That's why I hate the fact that, you have to go buy energy. Then you have to go do PvE and spend that energy to try and grind to get bosses to fight. Then what really even ticks me off is when everybody shares theirs and you already fill up 20. And then you're sitting there like, you're like, why am I not spawning one? What's going on? I know I've hit over 5, nothing's happened. And then you go over there like, oh crap, my thing's already full from other people sharing.
Right.
I can't stand that because you lose energy out because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just gets to the point I was just like, I don't even want to fool with doing this. I'll just go to the Lions bosses. I have energy there. I don't have to go anywhere. I can just hit battle, and just keep battling the Lions boss and not fool with the other.
Well, and don't so many other games, Retpmus, have like mechanisms where if you're battling like a massive super boss and it's going to take multiple days to kill this boss, you just have the battle button and you attack them, and as that boss dies off, their level increases and everyone just keeps pounding on that boss, kind of like the Alliance boss concept.
Yeah.
You could do it with solo bosses. So it could get to the point where even like an 80 G11 RB5 tune, you might need to attack 3 times because the boss gets so powerful after it's been reset so many times that it actually presents a challenge for the upper end players that really just kind of coast through every raid, just like, well, what combination am I going to use this time? Because, it's not like I'm going to have a problem with raids. It's just what's the fastest way to finish. So you could actually like make that more entertaining because it would present a challenge for the higher end rosters, and you'd still have the same bosses that other people could pound on and beat to the level that they could handle, earning rewards. So
kind of like in the same concept of red alerts, how it scales according to your level.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. But I think the challenge thing is overrated because now they created the Nightmare Challenge for that, to give a challenge to bigger players. But then the only time it really became a challenge, it wasn't a challenge, it was just a RNG nightmare.
Yeah.
So it's not like I don't think they can create anything that becomes a strategic challenge for players at our level.
When they go and they say, we're going to ban characters from Nightmare Challenge, we're banning Spectre.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Well,
It's a nightmare then.
I'm not saying like strategic in terms of the challenge. Like in other games, they'll create like a mega boss that essentially you just have to like pile the damage on. Then it becomes more about like, okay, who is the most powerful, because you are piling damage on for a total damage factor to determine who actually earns rewards. And that actually like,
that's what I was discussing that with AB just a little bit ago before we started that exact same concept.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when the boss dies, it resets and you just have another boss to attack against. So you're not spawning bosses.
Right.
And your total damage is tracked like throughout the whole raid, and that becomes your score as your total damage. You can still have all the milestones as check marks for each of those total damage factors, but then you could also have a bonus reward tiers for people that put in excessive time and damage, and that gives you incentive to play raids more and to burn more gems and to do all the things that they want you to do, and also allows you to earn more rewards. So imagine if once you pass milestone 70, you suddenly unlock the ability to score another 200 million damage and earn a rebirth token. Don't you think more people might be like playing raids deeper to just get those rebirth tokens? Because again, if you can exchange your gem currency for rebirth tokens, it's always worth it because they're the rarest resource in the game. So, I don't know.
Right, but if you're not spending gems for energy, how is the game winning then?
But again, you'd have to come up with a mechanism for how like you actually like attack these bosses, or maybe like the raid energy depletes faster. Like it costs you 100 blue energy to attack the raid boss, so it depletes faster, and then you actually have to use gems to reload it. I don't know. That might be even less fair. That might be worse. I really don't know. I'm not the developer. It's not kind of my job to come up with those things, but I do think that there's an opportunity there to create an additional reward structure for the higher end players as an incentive for, you see it all the time. Every raid, there's individual players that play up into the billions of points just because they're farming essence. I'm one of those players, just farming some green essence, and I might end up at 1 billion raid points. It would be nice if those other 500 million raid points earned got you something.
Right.
Anything.
Well, it does.
Yeah, essence.
Yeah, green essence.
Yeah.
You get your resources.
Right.
That's why
That's what
people
you got.
keep going.
Yeah, it's just I just feel like there needs to be more for the cost, basically.
Someone just seems greedy right now.
I I think their heels are pretty dug in on the structure of raids at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
they're
I'm
not
just trying to
changing.
think of anything that could change things up a little bit, just because everything, the main comment I think people say about the game is it is stale. Nothing ever changes. And when they do change things, it's like, oh, we're making this big change, like this Coliseum thing. But let's be real, it's probably just going to be another PvP mode, exactly the same as the other ones, with slightly different scoring structure.
Yeah, you'll fight Enchantress, Trigon, Monkey Prince, but they'll all have stars on their faces.
I think it was supposed to be. It's just one affinity type. Is
Like
what
a-
it's.
so you can
So
only
it's a
do
blitz
green.
then.
Well, it's no, it's like it's not an affinity, but it's an affiliation type.
Yeah,
so
like
it's
so
basically
Oh,
like
okay.
Oh,
Titans
okay.
characters,
So-
all Legion
right,
of Doom
all
characters.
Arca, yeah.
Which is
Okay.
People have been
cool.
asking for stuff like that.
I mean,
Which
Yeah,
is
Biff,
great.
that's what
Yeah,
Biff
I
wants.
like
He
it.
wants all
But-
Legion of Doom.
But they're selling it as like a new game mode, as the Coliseum, versus just treating it as a themed blitz.
right.
Like,
yeah,
it, but
100%.
Anytime they're trying to mix it up and do something different, just tells us that the game's not dead, which is the positive.
I'm not worried
Yeah.
about the game being dead. I just want a slightly more significant change to something. Like, even if it was just like a stupid graphic thing, like giving us some new characters on the main screen. Just like standing there doing stuff. Like, that shouldn't be that hard to do. But again, it is what it is. They're running, as we know, on a skeleton crew as far as developers. Like, clearly it's not like the game is well funded to do a bunch of these changes. But I just also think we've been conditioned to just accept mediocrity as like, yay, they did something very minor and it actually doesn't mean anything at all, but hooray, it's something.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
I
I
just
think
feel like
people
that's
are
where
just-
we are as a player base.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think people are just happy to get a bone thrown their way, you know?
Yeah. I don't know.
That's-
I don't see in my head how it could be harder to change the reward structure of raids to catch up with the speed of the game. We've had raids for how long now? The rewards for raid milestones are inadequate. The rewards for the raids for the time and the energy put in over 3 fucking days, because let's be real, day one's not that hard. We only put in an hour. But the time and energy you put in is just, frankly, it's almost not worth it. And I'm finding that with almost all the game modes. Like, I haven't even played 27 PvP matches since July 13th. Was the last time I did that. So it's just like, give me a reason to invest time in the game, because I'll tell you what, I'm finding plenty of time to invest that little bit of extra time in DC heroes and villains. I'm playing Tapjoy games that I'm finding more engaging and more fun than the game I'm trying to earn the premium currency in. It's just a little bit sad to reflect on those things. And now my time in DCL is so minimal right now, and it kind of makes me sad.
Yeah. And we'll talk a little bit about heroes and villains here in a bit, but I'm in the same boat as you.
Sorry.
What was that?
I feel like I'm just going to quit playing altogether. That just seals it. I mean,
No,
Sekju's points are so valid. Why even bother continuing?
I'm still here and playing.
I'm announcing my retirement.
Oh,
I
right.
think
Retpmus.
instead of quitting, I think we should just get Sekju back on the weed he was smoking last time.
I can't remember
Yeah.
what it was.
Is that it? You're out?
No, I just smoked before I got. You know what? It might be though. We were using, we call it the leftovers from the grinder that's in last night, like that we didn't finish smoking last night. And
Right.
The leftovers are indica, so it starts you off with a bit of that couch potato downer high. So that could be part of the problem.
Son of a. So I want to back up to something, because you're not serious, are you, Retmus?
No.
Okay, I wanted to
He's
check.
just mocking me.
Okay, I wanted to check. We got to make sure these things don't start rumors. So,
Right. I gotcha.
so it sounds like raids continue to be a pain, but I mean,
I also think that there's a bit of this of being a Superboy Prime raid.
oh yeah,
People are
True.
always
Ugh.
a little bit more annoyed than usual.
Twatty
'Cause the
Boy
grind
Prime.
is a little heavier, so that
Yeah.
might be some of the
true.
negativity here, just because we're going through one of the tougher raids. You have the Superboy Prime, you have the Scarecrow, you have ones that are a little more grindy than the norm.
The only
It
time
makes you reflect on it a bit more. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, I have to spend so much more time doing this bullshit.
Well,
Well,
it's just the thing, it's time away from your life. You're investing in this grind
Yeah.
because you want these rewards, but it's so time consuming. So it makes you psychologically kind of feel bad
Mhm.
later on. Like, I could have done this instead, or if they would have just trimmed this a little bit more, I could have had more time to do something else, that's as equal value or more value, but this is a limited time thing. So I'm psychologically trapped into doing this right now, or I won't get what I need. It's one of those things.
Also,
Yeah,
Superboy Prime is also the only time I'm in danger of losing an alliance boss to someone. I feel like,
Yeah.
which like all it takes is one crash, and it's like that's it, you're done. Like someone, I posted a picture in our thing of someone who like came like within 10,000 or 10 million rather points of like of stealing a boss, and I was just like, I would have thrown my phone out the window, guaranteed.
Yeah.
It was just like I was like I like it crashed after the first one. I get back on, then I start to play, then I notice this, and I'm like just
Yeah.
sweating till
Yeah.
the end.
I kind of hate that whole concept too, because it's like you're spending your energy to go out there to farm these bosses for you to battle, but yet someone can come right in and take that boss away from you. I kind of don't like that concept at all. I mean, that's what you spawn to fight. That should be yours, and people can contribute to such a certain level of energy, but that's it. And then they can get shared in your rewards like they do. But I don't think they should be able to overtake and steal something from you like that.
Yeah, 100%.
I agree, but I also enjoy stealing bosses from non-allies and allies sometimes by accident, as I will
Right.
attest to.
Right.
Just trying
The
to help. I
old
swear to God,
oops.
I'm always
Notice.
just trying to help.
Right.
But I told you, I've been good. I haven't stolen one yet in 2022. I've been a good boy this year. I'm gonna get good presents from Santa.
Right. Yeah, it's an excuse, right? Oh, I left my phone running.
I hit the button and walked away.
Right.
Oops.
I was just helping one of Retmus's, and I forgot because
Yeah.
we're talking on the show, and I forgot. And I looked down. I'm like, oh no, the timer was at 2 seconds, and then I was like, whose is this? Please tell me. I didn't just. But these ones you really can't do it on one turn anyway.
Right.
So it's, as Ms. Junk said, the problem is, did somebody connection get lost? Did someone, they like, does that come into play? Because at this point, anyone wants to try to steal mine, come get me. I haven't had a boss stolen in probably 6 months.
Yeah, it's been a while, but I mean, I don't think it used to be this way. I think you had a full turn at it before people could jump in.
I think it used to be 40%. Now it's 25% with the auto share.
I still think it does that, Miss Junk, because I can be in the middle of the match and I'm getting about 108 to 109 million on the bosses now. I'm trying to figure out a way to get a little bit more. But I notice about when there's 20 some seconds left, then I'll see someone else attacking my boss. And that's about when I'm hitting about close to 100 million. So it's right in the middle of my first run. So I don't get a full turn. I still think it is based off that percentage, like Biff was saying.
Gotcha.
Right. And I did the day threes because I hit my milestones yesterday. So I don't farm anymore today, but I just help out with teammates once. But the one with 130 yesterday, I found it to be actually pretty good because it's like what Retmus said. It was with about 15 to 20 seconds left was when the auto share was, which I thought was perfect because you did need. I did a couple one turns where I got 117 million, 115 million, 113 million that covered me, so I didn't have to do a second turn. But the times I did have to do a second turn, it was kind of perfect because it was like 10 seconds left, 15 seconds left was the auto share. Then I just jumped into my second attack and it was nice and easy. There was no chance anyone could steal one.
Yeah, yesterday was so much easier. I think today is just like it was a little
yeah.
tough.
I think I've only spawned one just doing my 30 missions or whatever, 30 heroics. I think I did have one on my own, but
So you actually still do those missions during raids? I don't even do those during raids. I just don't pay attention to that crap.
Oh, I do.
Every
time.
Oh, I skip it all.
It's actually easier to do it. It's actually easier to do it because you're.
I mean, it probably happens passively, but I never I don't go after like I said, I haven't been doing my 27, but I don't go after the 27 during all of raids. I just ignore those rings and whatever and just
do the 2 to get in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But, I mean, you could skip the 27.
Yeah, you might as well collect all that green essence for that.
And
now
you're
gonna do it anyway.
Yeah.
And now I just hit a milestone where I no longer need blue rings, and I no longer need green essence.
Really?
So I'm
amazing.
I'm tapped out. I'm
jealous.
I know.
I have enough blue rings that you collect through the month to do the 2 new characters. Everyone's ringed out anyway, so I have enough blue rings on a monthly basis and then green
Good
essence.
job.
I have everyone level 80 except for Joker damaged goods at 79.
You just refused that last one. You just fuck that guy.
It's one of the missions.
Oh, that's
You have to
yeah.
apply on it.
Yeah.
So I apply one level 1 mat to him every day.
There you go.
Nice.
And just to do that one thing. But now I'm to the point where it's just legendary essence and rebirth crystals are the only 2 resources in the game that even matter. So
Damn.
I'm kind of at that point where it's like, okay, what am I trying to do? And now I think I have like 35 L4 characters left. And that's it.
Wow. You're a whaling over there.
Well, I play this game for roster building, so this is kind
Sure.
of like so now I'm getting nervous because it's kind of like
We're in the end game now.
because now I'm almost at the point where there's nothing to do.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
You
Can't
know, if I
wait
do
for that
third-
Coliseum to come out.
oh yeah, that'll supercharge me. And I actually heard chapter 9's coming soon. So
You know, at this point, I'm cool with that. You guys can play all the chapter 9 you want. That's awesome.
What if it features the Wonder Twins?
Well, then I guess I have to play.
That's what I'm saying. Like there's the circumstance.
Yeah, it's never going to happen. DCL's never gonna make it. So
I don't know. They are on one hell of a monkey kick right now.
yeah. It's,
And I showed you that banner. Reddit's banner had Gleek in it.
it did. Yeah, that's right. You did show me that.
DCL thing, and the only reason I saw it is because I no longer have Reddit on my phone because you guys are fucking cesspool. But I do have to post the show, and I post it from my laptop. So I was actually on the website, not the app, and the website has a big, huge banner that you don't see on your phone.
Yeah.
And it had like a monkey theme, and it had an issue of the Wonder Twins comic on the banner, and a huge picture of Gleek.
Man.
And that's on Reddit's banner.
I deleted
So-
my Reddit too. Instead of reading Reddit, I just walk on Legos barefoot.
You enjoy it much more, don't you?
Right. It's about the same feeling.
No residual effects, no after effects. So on that note, I think it's the longest we ever talked about raids.
Yeah.
I mean, that's been a long.
Well, we
that
had to
was a
get
long.
it back on track after Sekju
Yeah.
depressed us all.
I'm sorry. I'm just over here, still not at 500 million, slowly killing these bosses, just
So
ejected.
close. Yeah. I would like
95, almost there.
someone mentioned how and I thought this was a good idea about doing more with alliance, like maybe alliance fought, like alliance versus alliance or things like that. You know,
Oh.
because now it's there's not really a lot to do for alliance, and you get so little rewards for doing the alliance missions. The only benefit
Oh,
is
who's
really
greedy
just having,
now? You want
The only
more
way to-
for
I
your
know,
alliance
I know.
missions?
I know the only real
It's all of
benefit is there are great missions you get a lot during raids, and you can't do. I don't think you can even do raids unless you're in an alliance, and obviously like
What would be-
our alliance is cool to hang out with, but
What would be really nice is to like spin off that idea is to have like alliance versus alliance, right? But and they have like, let's just say they offer the anti-monitor. He's a
Mm.
character you can get. Okay, well, your alliance can get 5 shards of the anti-monitor. You know, it's certain levels, like from the top 10 spot, then 2 shards, and then
Yeah.
1 shard or something all the way down. And that is the only way you can get the anti-monitor. Then once you've accomplished and you've got anti-monitor, then they release another character. I don't know, let's just say like Darkseid's father or something, you know, OP characters, right? And those are the only ways you can get them. So that way you could have a reason to compete in these alliance versus alliance. You mean you'll be guaranteed a shard at least for competing, right? But as you go up in the levels, it's higher and higher. And that would be a good like segue into alliance versus alliance. Like, what would be the point? Why? Well, these are the super rare characters, and this is the only way you can get them.
yeah, absolutely.
Wasn't when Martian Manhunter came out, wasn't he only available through alliance
first,
missions
yes.
at first?
And,
Yeah.
and I thought that's how it was going to be at the beginning. And I kind of like that
yeah,
because
it should have.
back then we were number 1 alliance.
People quit when they
Yeah.
sold when
Yeah.
they started to sell
Yeah.
Martian Manhunter.
We were like the alliance champion 9 times back when we first started.
This was your previous alliance before.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And we were like, oh, this is going to be sweet. It's like, we're going to be getting all these characters. And then that was it. And I was like, what, a one-time thing? What's up?
Just
I just had to clarify because I know we've
Yeah.
never been number one.
right, and that kind of brings me back. We've
We
always been
finished
number two,
one on
right?
day one of raids. A couple
Oh no,
times.
we are the owls of day one.
That's right.
and just so everyone knows, we do whatever we want. Because by the way, if we wanted to put a plan in place,
Oh yeah.
because it's about efficiency and it's about timing and it's about all of these things. If you are up a good amount, like we were on day one, like almost 30 million ahead of second place this year, if we wanted to, we could build that schedule and that plan that no one could catch up, no matter how much you spent. Because by the way, we have all the energy we need. So we don't have to spend on energy. And if we have a big lead and then we have a plan, we could do whatever we want.
Yeah, sounds like that's the alliance trade right there. You got to work to beat the other alliances.
Yeah.
I say
What we want is to drink and get high and relax on Sunday. So
Yes.
that's
double
always
AD.
the rub.
I think it's really funny what we've done to the landscape of raids, because it used to be when you looked at the top 10, right? Like after like middle of day 2, you would see a huge gap between 10 and 11. Right? You'd see the top 10 kind of separate from the field about midday 2. Now it's funny, it's different, and it's different because of us. Because everyone knows we're going to back off. There's a big gap between 11 and 12 now, not 10 and 11. So I see it every time I look at it like midday 2, and I say, yep, there's the AAD effect. Because generally people are falling behind the top 10, and they're just like, oh, forget it.
Yeah.
11 and 49 are the same fucking prize, or 11 and 50 are the same prize. But now you see one more team staying close to the pack because they know we're going to fall back.
Yeah,
Except that
1,500
one time
can't
when
say
we
that.
decided not to, and
And then they were
Right.
all messaging us in
Yeah.
the server like, so
what's
you guys
going
gonna
on? What
stop?
are you doing? What's happening?
The Retpmus crazy time.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, we never even talked about it.
No,
I think it was because I went crazy with
Yeah.
the Alliance boss attacks. We were like, let's just go for it.
Well, no, but we never even said it.
I know.
It was never even
Yeah.
said in the thing. People were just following the lead. Like Retpmus was going, so like, okay, if he's going, I'll go. And then it got to the point where the first message we put as Alliance that had anything to do with going for top 10 was I sent out a message at like 4:00 on Sunday and said, guys, we're locked. No, don't waste any more energy. Because we were locked in third with like 4 hours left.
And
Like,
I
it
think we
was-
still kept going anyway.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I think we did keep going to just stay at a KOA.
Yeah, we were like, we can't let them pass us at the end here. We're keeping third.
damn them. That's a good question. What was the name of your guys' first alliance? Like each one of you, like what was the name of your, like for me, the name of my first alliance was Poop Dragons.
Are you serious?
No, I'm dead serious. Yeah, I joined the Poop Dragons because I thought that was a fucking kick-ass name.
That is a kick-ass name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was the first day I told this story before, so for people that have heard it, you're gonna hear it again. But the first day of alliances, I was recruited by that douchebag on UJLA or whatever, the Batman guy,
Yeah.
and he kicked me out after one day
Oh,
because I didn't understand what the whole thing was, and I speed forced all of my missions. So I didn't do any points on day one.
Right.
And he kicked me out of the alliance after
Ugh.
one day of alliances.
Yeah.
But I
Right.
will let him know, Batman. I did figure this. I did figure it out. And I've
And,
been pretty.
and he
I've
still
been-
doesn't put him up.
I've been pretty valuable team member to a few of my alliances over the years.
Oh boy. Oh, what could
One
have
day.
been? What could have been? Oh boy. No, none of the rest of you want to tell us what the first alliance you're ever in was?
I'm trying to remember mine. This might be a good question for Mr. Danig, actually, in our alliance, because he was in it with me.
Oh,
I think it was called American Driven or something. I don't know. It was I was at that stage where it was somewhere down like in the alliances that, if they're lucky, come into the top 500 of raids, and I had taken off like over a year since I started playing the game, and alliances weren't even a thing when I first started playing the game. And then they're like, "Oh, alliances," and I didn't even know how to join one. Like I would go to the alliance screen and nothing would show up, like to even search for them for the longest time. And then one day somebody let me into one, and that was it. And I played there for a while, and then Witty recruited me into the Black Lantern Corps #2, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
Mine was we were going for Emerald Archer Green Arrow, and it was I was going for the top spot in the normal World's Finest, and I was just like going against he was like one of the owl guys, I think Mirror Master he was part of the owls, but I think this was before the alliance. And it was right during that time I had like 50,000 gems, and I was just like, you know what, I want this character. He was kind of like meta at the time, and I just went nuts, going after this. And then this guy reached out to me, and he was just like, hey, we're going to make this new alliance called NWO for life, and he was like, do you want to be part of this, right? And he's like, you'll be an officer. And then and there was like 2 or 3 others. We all started talking, and we're like, yeah, sure. And this guy's name was Bastion, and he was the one that got World Finest more than anybody else. Like at the beginning of DC Legends, his name was always there. He won it like 27 times. It was like insane. He was World's Finest back in the day. And then we started it, and I was a member of that. I mean, of course, we had people come and go, but like when Alliances first hit, for that, we were the winners for 9 times straight. Nice. And well, actually, that's incorrect. It was 8 times. We lost 1 time to another group, but then we won back after that. And then, of course, things just fell apart, and I stayed there. He dropped off, and I became the leader of it for about a year-ish, something like that. Mm-hmm. And then everybody started dropping. We had Osmos Def. He was part of my original crew. Let me see who else was. Sheriff Lobo, from a big winner of all the siege events. He's won like a ton of those for the Owls. He was part of my team in the back in the day. So I mean, we had a great team back then. But then when it just started, people just started losing interest because there was nothing to refresh about it. That's when I saw Biff put a thing up, and he was like, "Hey, we're looking for someone." I was like, "Hey, well, I've got like half of an alliance left if you want to do like a merger." And then pretty much that, and then pretty much all the guys dropped off after that.
Yeah,
we still have 3, including you from your team.
I was in one of the NWO ones too. I was in Robot Justice.
I gotcha. Not without
like,
oil.
Something like, I don't know. They did something where they just like they broke it up NWO into a few different things.
Mm-hmm.
And then and there it was fine. It was fine, good casual play. It's just then I did this podcast. Like, we have an opening. I was like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I ran into you on Robot Justice. Mr. Danig and I were both in Robot Justice.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
That was right before Witty reached out to me about the creation of AAD, and that's when everything shifted over, because again, Witty had been like bringing me into every group I had been in previously. Mm-hmm. So when she like knocked, I was like, I'm sorry, I gotta go.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Pretty
crazy. I like those guys though. That was a good group of people.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was in that Discord server for like a year afterwards, just chatting with everybody, and I think that's how we reached out to you too. Was like, I think I know this player.
Right. Yeah. And I felt kind of bad because I like just left, so I went out of the Discord server. But no, but they're I really like the guys there.
Yeah, but like Mr. Mayhem had retired, I think, at that point, and a couple other people that were like integral to that group had retired. So it just kind of was doing its thing. Yeah,
I mean, there's for a while they were dropping below the top 50 in raids. Mm-hmm. They were like 20 something in raids, 30, but then they were dropping out of the top 50. Then they were dropping out of the top 100 in the weekly. So it's just,
yeah.
Boy, you got to really try to not be in the top 100 in the weeklies. Yeah, like we don't have any daily anything, but I mean, we're always 15 to 20 by just existing.
Right.
Right. So, Siege ends tonight, and I don't know
No.
if we want to. No,
Siege ended last.
Siege
Siege
ended
starts
last
tonight.
Oh,
Right?
Siege
No,
starts tonight.
there's nothing on the thing. Are we sure?
Oh,
Siege
we get a
starts
week
tonight?
off?
I think we have another week because there's nothing on the.
I could have
Oh,
sworn
man.
either it was ending or
My
starting.
outlook just got so much sunnier. I can skip another week. Heavens. Oh, thank fuck.
I
that
mean,
means-
there's
that means
nothing.
the last week of Siege is gonna coincide with raids.
Oh, no.
Well,
Wait.
we'll
well,
see.
Shit. I don't know.
Hey, how about we? Since we're talking wish lists, the stuff that'll never happen. How about we take a week off of Siege? I'll take a week off of
Yes.
Siege versus a day off of raids.
100%.
Yes.
100%.
Yes, I would. I
Okay.
would be with that. Yes.
You're getting a lot of good
2
info,
weeks is plenty
WB.
for Siege. 2 weeks is
Plenty.
plenty of time
Yeah.
to figure out
Plenty.
Yeah.
who's the best competitor in this group. You know.
Plenty.
I mean, like I think I pretty much like if I look at where I am after 2 weeks and where I am after 3 weeks, it's pretty much. I mean,
It's the same.
It's
Yeah.
a push.
It's the
Yeah.
Same thing.
Because you hang with that same group of people if you're playing, like you're always playing the same people, even on your board refreshes.
Right,
and you're
right.
always in that same general area. I played Siege really hard last Siege and I was ranked, I think, 92. And then I went to the beach and said, fuck it, and just stopped playing Siege altogether until the very last day. I used up whatever energy I'd left. And I still finished at like 4 or 3. I think, no, I was at like 440, I think, without playing Siege for 8 days straight. So it just goes to show you that once you get to a certain point, it's
Yeah.
almost impossible to drop down, even if you skip like over a week.
Everybody catch up to you.
Yeah, I mean they catch up, but not that much. Like again,
Right. I'm
like
saying they have to once you get that high.
yeah. So I don't know,
Yes.
but I'd be happy to give a week back of Siege.
I Dr. Destiny this time.
yeah, I think it's good. I like Dr. Destiny.
I've
Yeah,
been
he's not
surprised
bad.
at the amount of damage he does.
I know. I couldn't
that-
believe that I can just
And-
use 2 characters and,
And then,
wipe out.
and I haven't read the kit, which makes I'm the best DCL podcaster of all time. I didn't even read the kit of a new character.
Well, the passive damage
but-
is great.
But yeah, but
Yeah.
isn't there something that happens where he does a move and then just everything pauses and then people just start dying? Like it doesn't even
Yeah.
look like I don't know
It's-
if that's a visual bug or whatnot.
No, it's
but
passive damage. Like at
Okay.
the end of a turn when they're in down, he does damage based on whether they're in downs.
okay,
And so if he's with people who apply in downs, especially, it's just like
Oh,
yeah, you
fuck,
see all
I
of a
gotta
sudden
play
like
him
people
with
just like
Stitch.
"Whoop."
There you
yeah,
I gotta
go.
run him
he's
with
great
Stitch.
he's great with Stitch.
they
He's
just
great
all
with
they all just die.
Plus, he
Yeah,
just pops. I mean, I was going against. Oh my gosh, I just forgot her name. The pain in the ass evasion
Cheshire.
with wings.
Dawnstar.
Dawnstar, yeah.
Dawnstar.
Her name
Porn
slipped my
star is
mind.
what he likes to say.
Yeah, just slipped my mind because everybody knows if you let her go, she
Mhm.
becomes a pain in the ass, and you can never touch her, ever. And I was going
Superboy.
against him, and he just put Doom on her, and
Yeah.
so she's sitting there, and I was just like, man, it's going to be one of those matches that I have 2 characters left. Mine keeps putting shield up, keeps missing her. She keeps doing that. I mean, I might as well back out. Then all of a sudden I look over and just pop and she dies with full health. I'm like, what? And I didn't realize, past all of her buffs, she had a debuff of Doom that he put on her.
Mhm.
So I was
and
like,
plus,
nice.
and plus he can, I mean, and I feel dirty even saying this, but he can also take all of her evasions away too.
Yes,
So
yes.
you weren't dead anyway.
Well, it
No,
doesn't
but-
matter. It doesn't matter with her or Cheshire, because as soon as he takes them all away, their very next move, they put them right back.
Plus they have awareness, like a stack
Yeah.
of awareness.
They put them right back because I was like, oh, okay, I'll take him against Cheshire. I'll just take all her evasions away and she's done. I did that. Her move was next. She came out and hit one person, put the stack back on like what 5, and then
I
her
think
next
it's 4,
move.
but but I've been pretty. I like Mr. Miracle, so I've actually been doing the splits.
Okay,
and
cool.
I've been killing it with him. Like he just Cheshire on the other side. Like
Love
I've actually taken Cheshire out because I had somebody go after he went
Gotcha.
and just took care of Cheshire. Like I've been running like 3 bonus with Hawkman. So then Dr. Destiny strips, Hawkman hits her, even if
Nice.
even if he doesn't kill her,
Well, he can't
he
miss
stuns
anyway.
her. Right. He
Yeah.
stuns her.
Yeah. And
So
then she can't go to build up.
can't get her 4 evasions on her basic. So
Yeah.
I
mean, yeah, playing with someone like that, that would definitely work. I didn't have a character like that, but I can see what you're saying as well. But even without him even on there, just having Hawkman will stop her because he'll just stun her and she can't build her evasions up.
Right.
But he's a good addition as well.
He is. I don't think he's anything like I was surprised he wasn't good at raids as a 2-time. Like I was thinking he was going to be good, and then once again, Arcus outdoes a multiplier that people think are going to be great. A green multiplier that
He
people
previously was good as a 3x, but again, that was a 3x versus a 2x, which makes a pretty big difference in terms of overall damage.
Yeah,
it's one time more.
But it seems like he was less effective now.
Yeah.
Like but just in general, like less effective, like even at ramping than he used to be.
Right.
I think his old kit, I think he had something where he gained whenever someone was stunned, he gained strength ups. Now he just gained shields. I think, but I could be wrong. But I remember him ramping with strength ups more than he does now. Now it's just more like he gains shield and he gains
He just doesn't hit as hard.
Right.
Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just I don't use him.
I thought the first couple days after he came out that when I used him, I thought he was hitting hard, and now I just don't think he is anymore.
I seem to agree with you there because I thought he did a lot more damage, and now it seemed like he was toned down.
Yeah, like his AOE was like wiping people out.
Did he get a secret
right
nerf
off the bat?
He could have. We never know.
I don't think so because I don't do enough testing to really. I'm just saying my initial impressions was Hawkman was really, really good, and now I'm like he's good. He's a good character.
I think I read on one of the discords that like either something happened with one of the updates where his like I think DCL Drunk was even touching on that he reverted to his old kit or something where he would no longer stun through the immunities, and I don't know if that was fixed with the most recent patch.
I think it was.
Okay, so I don't know if maybe that was part of it, that the reversion to his old kit affected his damage multipliers or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and by the way, did you guys see that they actually communicated that fix?
Yeah.
That they actually,
really?
She actually put the thing out there and said, yeah, here's the patch notes. And
yeah, that's the second set of patch notes.
But part of the patch screwed us over because they changed it from 5 PvP energy for 1 match. I was so looking forward to that during raids. Not having to doing 4 PvP matches a day was awesome. I only got 1 day of that.
Hey, if they would change that to 4 PvP matches and then change the
daily mission,
daily missions to reflect that would be amazing. I would love that.
That's a very quality of life improvement right there.
Yes, it
were to happen.
We're full of wish list items here.
I know.
This one is like, hey, this is an awful bug. Keep it. Keep it for raids.
But hey, here's a positive bug that the community likes, like the honor thing.
I wouldn't want it long term, but I didn't mind it for raids.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you guys used Lex, by the way?
AW Lex?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been using him.
I like him a lot. I mean,
decent. He hits hard. I mean, his basically is his bread and butter. You're hitting people whenever they're still at 100% health. He hits them.
Yeah. I was finding him useful in Siege.
Oh, I can't speak to that because I skipped it.
So,
right.
So what I'm kind of a little curious about is their choice of characters that they're doing, like Doomed Superman, for example, coming up. He was just in 1 story arc, and that was it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, but they chose him. And don't get me wrong, I think he looks awesome, and I'm kind of excited for that character because it's another Superman.
Me too.
But it's just kind of weird because they could have easily thrown in an unbelievably huge list of characters that people would like, but just 1 character from 1 story arc they decide to choose, which is, I don't know, it's kind of awkward to me.
They did that with
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, they did that with Ultraviolet John Stewart too. He was literally in just 1.
Which is even more obscure than like Doomed Superman. Like you know, when you're talking about known characters, Ultraviolet John Stewart, I think most of the community was like, "Who the fuck?"
Yeah, but
Me,
I
one of
brought
them.
that up a long time ago when we had the competition.
Yeah.
And I told AB, I was
Yeah.
like, hey, there's one more. And you're like, no, there's not.
Yeah,
was
I
like,
didn't
yes,
know.
there is. I just hate it when I'm right.
Yeah.
And it happens so often.
I know.
I know. We need to do another game, by the way. We need to do another game episode. I haven't thought of anything yet, but maybe we'll spring that on you guys in the next month or so. But
Maybe come up with like a DC Legends version of Cards Against Humanity and play that live. That could be fun.
Because I mean, the Ultraviolet Core, I think there was 8 comic books total so far, or something, or maybe more than that. So John Stewart's been in more than one, Miss Chunk. They actually formed the Ultraviolet Core, and it's an actual core now.
Yeah, but how about characters like King Shazam? Like,
yeah,
how many appearances does he have? Or like, I mean, I know that people love the Batman Who Laughs, which is fine. Again, it's not my cup of tea because to me, it just looks like a mashup fanboy if you took Batman and Joker and smashed them together. Like, I know that's not exactly who he is, but that's just the way it reads to me and looks to me. And it's kind of like the same thing with Super Doomed. I'm only excited because it's a Superman based character, but really it's the same thing. It's like a fanboy mashup, basically. So, I don't know where they're getting that inspiration for those characters. And every time that it seems like it's a guarantee, like, oh, we're going to get this person because they're in like these 6 different things this month, we don't get that character. I mean, it's just like, you don't know where it's like they have the, did you ever see the episode of South Park about the economy where they're trying to figure out how to change interest rates or what to do, and they just cut the head off a chicken and throw it on a wheel, and when it dies, that's what they do? I feel like that's what DCL is doing when picking characters.
Yeah, I don't think they even know anything about Dr. Destiny either, because like if you look at his gear, like normally they have something like Joker will have like chattering teeth, you know, exploding flower, you know, but with Dr. Destiny, it's like belt, mask.
Well, the thing, his second move, what's it called? The Matakira, whatever the fuck it's called. Like, that's like a thing that could have been a gear piece. So it would have made sense to make that a gear piece instead of the name of a move.
Right.
I mean, I'm just kind of surprised that they haven't brought Val Zod or Calvin Ellis into the game instead of Doom Superman.
Yeah.
I mean,
I would love either of those.
Yeah, I think they have a little bit more of a fan base than Doom Superman.
I would agree, and I think that would you know, get an underrepresented community some more representation too.
True.
So that would be good. I don't know.
I heard there was a picketing outside the WB Games asking for King Tut the other day.
Oh yeah.
How many people were in that picket line?
People took to the streets.
Speaking of underrepresented Egyptians, we don't have too many of those.
Yeah.
Right.
And by the way, what the hell is going on? We didn't even have a primate this month.
I know.
Yeah, it's been monkeys all around. What's happening?
I know.
Where's Gleek at, damn it?
Yeah.
Is Dr. Fate Egyptian, or did he just like steal Egyptian culture and appropriate it?
He culturally appropriated people.
He's not Egyptian.
Gotcha.
I mean, technically, the Hawks are sort of Egyptian, right? Isn't that part of their lore?
Yeah, Yeah, I suppose the Egyptian stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. I don't know. I know they're supposed to be aliens too, but isn't that part of Hawkman's very confusing?
Yes.
Yeah, they did have that
story that they attempted to address in 0 Hour, and everyone's like, we don't fucking know what they just did. They just smashed all the Hawkmen together.
By the way,
they didn't. If they would have made an Egyptian character, like they would have made like, it would have been King Tut, but it would have been like an overly like I don't know. It would have been the Apache chief for Egypt.
I would. Now there's another instant.
I mean,
if
we would go with Egyptian characters, I mean, I guess Black Adam could fall within that realm a little bit. Hawkman definitely.
He's from Kandak, though. I mean, I see what you're saying. Kandak being fiction, of course.
Yeah.
Right.
They kind of dip into that Egyptian culture though, with the names of a lot of their characters.
Right. Yeah.
And
because of ISIS.
Plus, King Tut's from New Haven, Connecticut, anyway.
Right.
Just so you know.
Well, and it's just like, well, if we want to go by characters, I mean, Dr. Fate would be an Egyptian character, but he's not Egyptian.
Like, I think it would have been sort of like when you see Egyptian art in like TJ Maxx, like that's the sort of version of our home goods.
I would love to see characters that are just really B tier characters. in the comic book realm, like King Tut, make an appearance. That would be awesome. I would
Egghead,
I would
Egghead
buy
would be
him.
amazing. I would buy
Yeah.
Egghead.
Egghead.
Vincent Price.
100%. Egghead, King Tut, like all those guys.
I
Like all
just
those,
so badly want Monsieur Mala and the brain. Like that would make my day, and that would give us another ape.
There you go.
You could have a whole team of monkeys.
Yeah.
Or as we've been corrected,
What's it?
primates.
Whole team of
Primates.
apes, though, but we could go
Sorry.
full ape.
Yes.
Isn't there like
At
an
that point.
ultimate humanite character or something?
Ultra
Ultrahumanite. Yeah, he's another one.
Technically,
He's not an ape.
technically, he was human though,
Right.
and transplanted his brain into an ape's body, so he's not
Yeah.
really.
Yeah, he's a human.
I mean, he is, but isn't. Like Grodd would be like, "You're not one of us."
yeah.
Ultra Humanite is in DC. Villains
DC
and
heroes and villains. Yeah.
I
Oh,
just
is he?
unlocked him.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and we didn't really. I mean, we're coming up on our hour here. We didn't really
Yeah,
get
well,
much of a chance
we can
to talk
talk
about
about
it, but
that
we can
next time.
talk
We
about
can
it
talk
next
about
time.
Oh, there's
Well,
one thing I
we're
need
actually-
to hear
we're
this
actually
time,
I was going to remind you,
Possibly.
Sekju.
Me?
I was going to remind you to do that. I think we're on the same wavelength.
Are we? Because my wavelength was I want to hear Biff's take on the Flash. Now that he finally saw it, like,
well, we're not on the
yes.
same
my
wavelength.
Yes.
breath for a day.
Then we're not on the
Oh.
same wavelength. I'm
But
sorry.
before you do that, Doom Superman is known as Dupes,
yes.
coined by Tewty.
Yes.
That's what I wanted
see,
to
I got
remind you
high.
of.
I got
Yeah.
high and forgot.
Yeah,
We don't want to
see?
forget that Tewty came
Thank
up
you.
with it.
Dupes.
Tootie
Dupes.
has now coined that phrase, so
Yes.
he should copyright that.
There's
It's a
people
registered
out there
trademark.
trying to say Duperman. I think
Dupes.
based on the pattern we have already with Soups and however you say Coops or whatever for Cyborg
Yeah.
Superman,
Yeah,
because I
Dupes,
always call him
Coops.
Soups and I'm like, it's the same.
Soups,
anyway.
Dupes, and Coops.
Dupes, yeah. Yeah, we like the
Dupes and
Dupes.
coops and poops.
Yeah, yeah. Those are always
Cubes.
Pubes.
But by the way, just in reference to the DC heroes and villains, we've actually had communications with their development team, and we might have some of the devs joining our show.
That would be great.
So look out for that.
Wow.
We've never been able to accomplish that on DCL. That's for sure.
Right.
Tell them they have to give those of us who have not unlocked Superman, unlock Superman. it.
Yeah, we're gonna hold you hostage. No,
Yeah.
no, but I'd be super stoked to hear from those guys too. I have some questions for them. I'm sure you guys do too. Is everybody here playing it, or have they all played it, or is this just a Biff?
I have.
have?
I'm not like active really, but
Right.
I'm the hate mail of Heroes and Legends.
I'm playing it. I'm not as far along as Biff, but I am playing it. I'm catching up to the
Yeah.
rest of the crew.
Yeah, as am I. I'm not quite there yet, but
I want to play it. I just don't have the time.
Yeah, someone
Yeah.
flashed that they had Killer Croc, and I was like, oh, you know my weak spot.
Oh, I love him. He's so good.
Yeah, Killer
he
Croc
just
is
throws
awesome.
a trailer at people and
Yeah.
he does
That's
epic
great.
damage.
Yeah.
It's so
yeah,
good. I love
Although-
Croc.
What's the significance of him throwing a trailer?
I don't know. Just
Because
he's
he
big and
can.
strong and he chucked the fucking trailer.
Yeah.
I don't
yeah,
know.
because he can. He
Yeah.
can chuck a fucking
He
trailer.
can.
That's his power move. He just picks up a big dumpster and just throws it
Yeah,
at you.
more or
Yeah,
less.
It's like a shipping container. It's huge.
We'll talk about DC heroes and villains next time.
But we do need to hear Biff's take on the Flash.
Yes, I
need
wanted to
hear
get
it.
this really quick before we wrap things up here.
Okay, so this will be really quick. And let me first say this has my take on this movie is pretty simple. But this has nothing to do with Ezra Miller, the human. Okay, because we all know he's a fucking douchebag, right?
Yep.
I'm taking that out of it here. Okay.
Okay.
I don't like his depiction of the Flash. So that's what what my one take on this movie will be. It has nothing to do with personal, nothing to do with, what he is as a person. This is what he is as relation to depicting the Flash. The only thing worse than one Ezra Miller Flash is two Ezra Miller Flash. Okay, that's it. That's my review.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better.
But by
I
the
thought you
way,
said it was a hot take. That's what everyone's saying.
no, but I don't listen to what everyone else is saying. No, but by the way, was I entertained for 2 hours and 20 minutes? Yes. I actually watched it twice because I rented it on Friday night of raids, and although I don't get drunk very often, because my tolerance is so ridiculous, I got like trying to get to the milestones on Friday night. I got really looped, and I woke up Saturday morning and I was like, "What? What happened in the Flash?" So I watched it again Saturday morning.
I think sober people left that movie thinking the same thing. Just like, what the hell did I just watch?
fuck?
Did I see? Was that Nick Cage? I don't know.
Yeah.
What's that, Nick
How drunk
Cage?
was I?
Hey, there's a lot of problems with the movie, of course, and it looks like, you know, the CGI was on like below TV budget, but I was entertained with it, and that's all that matters to me. Is
Yeah.
if I would have paid, well, I did pay, but if I would have paid for a movie and I completely hated it, and I would have felt like I wasted my money. But I watched it with my family. It was enjoyable. There were problems, but it entertained me for that hour, so it was enjoyable to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind
I
of
was
in the same
I was
boat.
entertained. No
Yeah.
no problem. I just don't love him as the Flash. That's
Yeah.
Right.
just
Well, we don't
yeah,
have to worry about it
basically-
anymore.
And I can acknowledge something I like is bad and still be entertained by it. I have no problem.
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you know,
no
it's
doubt.
I've been trying to find a copy of it to watch it again, even though I know it's not that great. But I'm entertained, and you know,
Yeah.
it's better than watching like the 15th repeat of a Marvel movie on TNT.
Oh, I know.
Oh
I
wow,
know.
yes.
I know.
There's
I
so
watched it
many.
because of Bat Keaton. I mean, that's it. I watched
And he was
Steve
fun.
Keaton, and he was
His tournament was
great.
fun.
He was the best
Yeah.
part of that whole film.
Yeah, I like to know like why the mansion was in the state it was when he was there, and why he was in that state.
Well, because
It seems-
Alfred can't cut his hair or clean the place up, so
So
Yeah,
he
but it was-
retired. They didn't need him anymore. You know, so why did everything go
Right.
to crap?
now he
That
just
makes no
wants
sense.
spaghetti.
He's a billionaire. He could have still paid for a butler and cleaning
Yeah.
services. It
Right.
just,
That's,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
plot holes everywhere in
Yeah.
that movie anyway.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
doesn't want Maria from the maids tripping over the Batcave or anything, you
No,
know.
but it's not like it's not like he didn't find that razor pretty quickly.
Right.
Put
Yeah.
that suit back
Right.
on again.
Yeah, and
Right,
how did he
yeah.
cut his hair? It's like so perfect like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, a Flowbee.
Right. Nobody cares about details like that. Oh, float. Nobody cares
Oh,
about
my-
details like that. Jesus Christ. All right. I think we've had quite a fun show. You guys are so entertaining every week. I'm tickled pink to have you guys. But I think we need to take it around the horn and get everyone's last word. And we'll start with Retpmus. Take us to church, pal.
All right, I'll make it super short and sweet today. Always try to make today better than it was yesterday. If you wake up the next day and it was equal to the last day, great job. If it was better than the last day, fantastic job. So always just strive to be better. It's that simple.
All right. We're not used to that brevity from you, but all right. Well, thank you. You didn't take us to church today. You just gave us a blurb. All right.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say.
Here comes the gospel
Here
according
comes
to
the
Biff.
gospel. No. Here comes the gospel according to Biff, because thank you, Retmus. We appreciate your buddy. And you get to take it up from there. Let's see if you can fill in where he left off, Biff.
I actually think that's a great
It was.
piece of life advice.
It was. I'm just
because it just every day doesn't have to be the greatest day ever, but if you just strive to, make it better, that do something better than you did the day before is always a good thing. And I dealt a lot with that, like during my unemployment that I'm dealing with right now, is like I just make sure that every day I just do something positive towards my goal. Doesn't have to be get an interview. It doesn't have to be this. It doesn't have to be that. Just can I hang my hat on one thing I did today that got me closer to my goal? So that's very similar to what Retmus said. And so I think a really good piece of life advice. But that's it. Great trip down memory lane, talking about our first alliances. For me, less than 24 hours before I was booted. Douchebag.
And look at you now.
Right.
Oh,
Who's
yeah.
laughing
Oh,
now, baby?
See, if it wasn't for those little butterfly effects, you wouldn't be where you are today.
Yeah, no, I didn't understand. I mean, listen, Speed Force is so
Even
much
the ne-
easier.
Even
It
the
is.
negatives can turn into positives.
Absolutely. I've met a lot of great people. And a lot of my, just like all of you were talking about, a lot of my previous Alliance experiences ended up here at AAD. People like Wally, Damana, people I've played with for years ended up here as well. So it's great.
Yeah. It's always a good day when you can screw around with your pals. That's just what I think. I enjoy screwing around. It's my hobby. All right. Thank you, Biff. We appreciate it, buddy. All right. Sekju, tell us what's going down, man.
Well, I'm just going to apologize for being so negative earlier. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be coming off so negative, but
You should be. It made me almost doubt myself.
I'm sorry. I really am. And I guess that's happened to me twice in the past couple days. I'm going to throw an apology out there to my buddy, Mr. Danig, because I made him upset in a comment yesterday, and I feel bad about that. And, I think my little piece of advice is never be afraid to apologize if you feel you've actually been in the wrong. Because I feel sometimes people are more inclined to be defensive about their own position on things, but I've been finding it very easy recently to be like, you know what? I think I might have fucked up there, and I'm sorry. So, you underestimate how far that goes with people in your day-to-day interactions when you acknowledge that maybe they're right and you're wrong. And even if you still think they're wrong and you just say, you know what, I'm sorry, and move forward, you can have a very nice, I don't even know. I lost track of my thought there. I'm pretty stoned. Fuck. I don't know. Just in general, like, don't be afraid to admit that you were wrong at something. Just like me accidentally stealing people's raid bosses. I swear to God, they're accidents, but I'm still sorry about them. But it's things that people don't do in life enough is admit their faults, acknowledge them, and try to work to better them. So I think that a lot of us could use some introspection in that regard. I've been trying to touch on that of myself a lot recently, and I think that's a good thing for anybody.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Sekju. Fantastic words. Everybody's hitting home runs today. So, Miss Junk, it's your turn to hit the grand slam. No pressure.
Time to strike out swinging. No, I mean, I just had this week. I know everyone's been down on like a lot of the DC stuff and how it was never as good as Marvel. And fortunately, this week was the season finale of Secret Invasion, and it was very terrible. It was DC worthy. So it's not necessarily, even if DC may not be bringing it up to the level of the past Marvel movies, Marvel's getting much worse. Right. So they're roughly the same now.
Yeah.
So
Marvel's on the downsliding scale, right?
Yeah. So they're meeting right, and now it's the same. No, and honestly, hopefully, I hope they both do better. I really hope the new DC universe is great. I hope Marvel continues to do well, but because that's what it's all about, just having fun.
I agree. And I haven't watched Secret Invasion. It hasn't interested me to watch it. Is it worth it? It doesn't sound like it's worth watching.
I mean, it was like okay, but
right.
It was, I was a little disappointed.
I'm gonna watch it. I tried to watch the first episode, but I was really high and I didn't pay much attention, and it was kind of boring. So I don't know. I'll revisit it eventually, but it definitely didn't capture you. I don't know how to
Hold on, let me catch my breath from the shock of hearing that.
No, I'm just saying in general, you want the first episode of a show to really hook you and like sink its hooks in and make you want to watch that next episode. I had the same problem with WandaVision too. I was like, this is fucking stupid because I wasn't alive in the 50s and this has no value to me.
No,
so,
I mean,
I get that some people,
the fact that you were too high to watch it. That's what I was saying.
I think I actually, oh yeah, well, subterfuge and all that stuff. I can watch other spy movies stoned off my ass. I can watch Mission Impossible movies no problem. So I don't know what the fuck, Nick Fury, get on that, Samuel.
How do you follow the plot line of a Mission Impossible high?
Well, I mean, it's
so complex
so many times.
Oh boy. Well, listen, you guys
Tom Cruise run fast.
Oh my God. You guys are awesome.
Basically, isn't it?
Well, it is. I mean, think about it. Yeah, it is. Anyhow, thank you guys so much. You're all awesome. And with that, I think it's time we can conclude. We want to thank all of you for taking the time to be with us today. Get on our website, atlantisafterdark.com. Grab some cool swag from the merch store. Get on Discord, talk directly with us, and then hit that subscribe button on YouTube because you know you want to. For Biff, for Retpmus, For Sekju and Miss Junk, we'll see you all right here next time for another awesomely awesome episode of Double AD. So long, everybody.